right, want to help with the economy? Well, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has an idea. Contraception. I'm not kidding. Listen to this.
Family planning services reduced cost. It reduced cost. The states are in terrible fiscal budget crisis now, and part of it, what we do for children's health or education, and some of those elements that are to help the states meet their financial needs. One of the initiatives you mentioned, the contraception, will reduce cost to the state and to the federal government.
All right, here with reaction to this ridiculous penny-pitching suggestion is former Clinton advisor and author of the New York Times best-selling book, Fleece, Dick Morris. And by the way, don't forget to get Dick's columns emailed to you for free. Just go to dickmorris.com. Beyond the absurdity of the statement, Dick, you know, this bailout mania is getting way out of control. You're a pollster. Americans are saying enough. They don't want it. And most of this is not going to be in effect till 2010. Why are the Democrats still pushing forward? What do Republicans do?
Well, the Democrats are pushing forward with all this stuff because they can. They have enough votes to do it. And essentially what they're doing is they're putting 25 years worth of legislation into one bill, calling it a stimulus package, and then passing anything they bloody well want to. And it's kind of a grab bag of everything they've ever wanted. And they're doing it because they need the illusion of activity and the illusion of movement. Right. But it's not going to solve this problem. This problem in the economy is caused because we are too heavily in debt. 10 years ago, the average American household owed 70% of its income, not counting mortgages. 70%, now it owes 140%. And until that gets back down to the 70 or 80, people move out of homes they can't afford, they get rid of cars they can't afford, kids go to state universities instead of piling up student loans, companies that are broke or inefficient like Detroit go out of business. Until that kind of stuff happens, it's not going to be solved. Well, go ahead. The stimulus is a painkiller. It's like a methadone. And you might as well spend it on contraception. Hey, spend it on whatever you want. Well,
the problem is the Heritage Foundation, and we've been dealing with this now the last 2 weeks on the program. This is $6,700 of debt per family in America, right off the top. They're going to spend more in a week than they spend usually in a year, Dick.
That's right.
And they're going to, if on the high side we reach their job creation number of 4 million, that's going to cost $217,000 to get that job.
Yeah, and we're not going to do that. Look, you look at the stimulus package, $800 billion over 2 years. About $200 billion of it is federal grants to the states. That helps because the states won't have to raise taxes, but it's not new spending. Then you have about $200 billion that's pretty good social projects, construction, school renovation, highways, bridges, that stuff, but that's going to take 2 to 3 years to take effect. And about $300 billion of it is tax cuts, or $400. And that's going to go on over 2 years. So you have a $14 trillion economy with $200 billion of tax cuts. Only 1%. Right. So it amounts to less than $1,000 a person. What's that going to solve?
This raises the question. What do Republicans do to oppose it, Dick? They can't even offer, with these draconian Pelosi rules, alternative bills. What do you suggest they do?
I think that the real threat of the stimulus package and of the whole Obama policies is that it's a Trojan horse. Inside the horse there are socialists, and there's programs that will enhance socialism in this country by stopping people from paying taxes, giving them welfare benefits, and giving the federal government preferred stock in banks that crowds out private owners. The Republican Party should draft the Free Enterprise Protection Amendment, which should be like a Bill of Rights. You know, Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of religion. It should be like that. It should be the federal government shall not participate in the management of financial institutions. Federal government shall not make decisions on loans, shall not tell banks who to lend money to, shall not decide to appoint the leaders of banks or the management. And they should compose a free enterprise amendment that is their price for supporting the stimulus package. And if they get together and do that, they can get critical mass in this country. And if they do that, if they say that that's what they're fighting for, then they could filibuster and block it until the Democrats put it in.
Dick, I've often criticized you for your polling and your focus groups and your reliance on those things, but the polls show that America's sick of bailout mania. Now, I want to focus back on one little point you made, too, because I think that's a good plan.
Simply saying no won't work.
I agree with you.
An amendment will.
Well, I think an alternative, a strong alternative, free market alternative will. But the Congressional Budget Office, whose numbers we're told, across the board are accepted, they said
they're pretty good.
That the majority of this jolt to the economy, as Obama calls it, won't have an impact till 2010. So it's not a stimulus. Yeah. They're saying that the recession will be over by then. So the question then remains, why would we bear this burden of debt?
It's all to give the impression of activity, the feeling of confidence, politically, for Obama to do something and pile up numbers that are sort of extraordinary. When Bush passed his stimulus package earlier in 2008, 5/6 of the money that people got, they spent paying down household bills, paying off debt, which is fine, but it's got nothing to do with stimulating the economy. Only 1/6 said whoopee and ran out and got a car or a flat-screen TV. And we can't push a string. You can give a businessman $1 million, but he doesn't have to invest it. You can give a consumer $1,000, but she doesn't have to spend it.
I'm hoping Republicans take some of your advice here, because socialism is now, that will be what happens to this economy. We'll lose the economy.
Absolutely.
Dick Morris, good to see you.
A free enterprise protection amendment.
All right, Dick Morris, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. And finally, tonight.